Welcome. I am Teresa Jingles with From Our View, and today I'm going to interview someone that's very important to our life now, Dr. Tamara Como. Dr. Como has changed my husband, my daughter, myself, and I want to tell you how I was introduced to her. A few years ago, my neighbor came by, and I've known her 30 years. And I said, "You look amazing. You just look better than I've ever seen you." And her remark was, "You're going to want my doctor." This is Dr. Como's new book. The name of it is Menopause Essentials: The Ultimate Guide to Optimal Aging. And we're going to talk about this today because I really compare this to Deborah Rayburn's book, Gentle Babies. For years, many years, I've known women that keep gentle babies beside their bed all the time because they have children and their books have coffee stains and they're marked up. Well, my book here already has writing in it. I've taken notes because it's similar to a little reference guide, and it should stay by your bed. And it's not just for menopausal women, it's to prepare you for aging. And now I'm going to let her tell a little bit about herself. Tamara, we appreciate you. We thank you so much for joining us. And this book is going to change lives. So tell us a little bit about the author. I know that's the way the book begins, so you start that way too. Just tell us about yourself.
I'm Dr. Como, and I graduated from residency in 2000. So I did an OB/GYN residency, regular old doctor, delivering babies, doing hysterectomies, and then I moved to Houston. And when I was in Houston, I was very young. I was 30 years old and, gave people their prescription pills, thought nothing of it. People needed a baby, thought nothing, here's your stuff. But eventually, as my patients aged, I realized that things they started to struggle. They would gain weight and I would say eat better, and they'd come back the next year and they'd gain 10 pounds and I know they ate better. Or they would exercise and I know they were exercising, but they couldn't lose the weight, and they would say, help me. And I really hadn't been trained to help them. So, and at first, you ask your friends, your colleagues, like, what are you telling them? And they're like, we don't know. It's like, it's scary when nobody knows. And like, what about menopause? And they're like, give them Prempro. Well, then they took Prempro off the market, or, they made it so that they got more strict about giving people hormones and estrogen. And so I was like, well, what else is there? And I wanted to age better too. I was like, I don't want to turn 40 and have all of these things happen and there's nothing there. So I just started looking. I got a master's in holistic nutrition. I got a naturopathic. I just would study while I was waiting for babies to be delivered or waiting for my surgery patient to be prepped. Like while I was doing my real job, I started, studying different things and, coming up with different plans. So it was a journey. Like I started really getting serious about planning my aging when I was 35 years old. And that was over 15 years ago. So this has been a 15-year journey to learn things because, I thought it was important, that important. So I spent more time learning how to age well than I spent learning how to operate on people.
Let's look at this because I have the book here.
Right.
I've already shown it, but this is my copy and I have mine signed.
No, no.
But it's already marked up. Dr. Como, yes, it's already marked up. But this is not what I expected.
Right.
Because it's not really a menopause book. It's a book for all age women.
Yeah.
It's preparing you that you don't suffer when you get that point, but it's helping you all through life. I mean, I really was surprised when I picked it up.
It's really a protocol book. It goes through all of the Young Living products, but even if someone didn't have Young Living yet, they could still, say, oh, look, here's some vitamin C. Oh, here's a way to boost my estrogen. Oh, it's even important to boost my estrogen. I didn't know estrogen had something to do with that. People don't realize that estrogen has something to do with everything. If you really look at the book and read it, the first sentence in every chapter is, well, when your estrogen went down, Here's what happened to you.
And it happens to all of us.
Everybody. I mean, starting at 35, it starts going down. That's when I started thinking like, wait, it's in 5 years, these women start having problems and I'm not these women yet. And even if I age well, I mean, my family ages pretty well, they think, but I was like, at some point, they still look their age. I mean, even though they looked really much younger than they were, at some point, I'm like, it's going to find me. I can see my grandmother. She does have wrinkles now. It took her, 10 years past everyone else, but she does. What am I going to do? I don't want them.
Well, you could pass for 35 now. So some of your protocols must be working. That's why this book is not just for women that have gone through menopause. It is for people, especially people that aren't there yet. I mean, if we had had this information when I was younger, I wonder if I would have been diligent with it, but I would hope so. Right now, you're helping me. And all of the stuff you've been teaching me in our Zooms and when I see you, they're in this book. So people can see your protocols. I love it because at the very beginning, you do talk about Young Living. For all of the Young Living members here, at the beginning, you say some people don't even know what essential oils are. And so you go into the very basics of that at the beginning of the book. So that makes a difference. Yeah. I'm going to look at some of the topics here. You talk about Young Living and supplements, and even Nature's Ultra, the CBD oil. But I have to say, the CBD Beauty Boost, the Nature's Ultra, oh my word, that stuff is amazing.
Yeah, it is one of my favorite new toys.
Yes, me too. Okay, part 2 is Menopause 101, adrenal fatigue, which so many women deal with that, understanding menopause, and perimenopause. So what is perimenopause?
So perimenopause is the trip. So there's a point in your life where you're fertile and you can get pregnant and you'd better take some birth control pills if you don't want a baby. And menopause is the point in your life where you know for sure you cannot have a baby. And perimenopause is that trip between where, I don't know, oops, got pregnant. It's sort of that phase in life. You don't know exactly what day that it started and you don't know exactly what day it ended, but there's this oops phase. And it's sort of your oops phase. Like it's a 9-year trip between not fertile and fertile.
There we go back again, that this is not just for menopausal women. I mean, the title of the book is a little deceptive.
It is. We were going to make it an aging book, but menopause is such a key word. People really look for that. And so we were like, okay, they need their own book. There's so many on beauty and aging. I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to do that. The menopausal woman like that. It's really driven by menopause, but you need it. Like I said, I needed that book when I was 35 and I was not in perimenopause or menopause.
Yes. Right.
So you can use it to prepare, but definitely when you're in perimenopause, please get the book. And if you're in menopause, you're late, but catch up, read fast.
It will make a difference. I promise it will.
It will make a difference.
Okay, part 3, your top 10 toxins to avoid. So you get into that and you tell which ones to avoid, and then you tell replacements, kind of a ditch and switch type thing. So that's great. Part 4, guide to staying above the wellness line, which all of us want to stay healthy above the wellness line. And then part 5 is the supplemental guide. This is big because this is the bulk of the book.
Right.
I mean, it's oils for anything. It is just protocols.
Yes.
So I love that.
Yeah. And the protocols, like they involve it, they'll tell you which oil that's single you can use, then which blends, because the blends would have those oils. So some people aren't blenders. I will take 3 oils and make something in a heartbeat. And some people are like, just give me it already blended. And so I included that for that crowd. But I was noticing that, a lot of my practice is Young Living. Probably a quarter or a third of the people that see me are involved with some sort of essential oils. And I would say, well, are you using the Endogize? And most of them didn't know what Endogize was. And I'm like, okay, that's very important. That's why I got into Young Living. I liked the fact that you guys had hormone precursors, because even if someone doesn't want hormones prescribed to them, and a lot of people don't, it's good to have control over, have the precursors. You guys have so many products Pregnenolone is in several of your products.
Yes.
DHEA is in several of your products. Everybody knows about the Thyromin, but with those three hormones, you have a lot of, tricks that you can pull. And a lot of people did not know anything about that half of the company. They knew the oils and they were playing with them, but they didn't know how to put the, supplements in, so that the protocols have that, which supplement goes with what issue you might be having. And there's a general aging protocol if you don't have too many issues and you just want to do something general.
So what are some of your favorite or most discussed topics, that protocols that you have here?
Number one is hot flashes, because perimenopause and menopause, 85% of the women who go through menopause are going to flash, and they're going to flash for about 7 to 10 years. So that's big, and it's hot and it's uncomfortable and it disrupts your sleep. So number one is going to be hot flashes, and number two is going to be sleep.
Oh, yes, both of those. But the hot flashes will stop sleep too.
Just yes. So people know, all of these things in the book are connected to menopause. Everything that happens to you after 50, I can walk right back and say, well, your hormones went down. Then you started exhausting your vitamins because you didn't have the hormones. And then it went from there. And if you don't know all of the sides to the story, you're going to, we think, oh, if I eat right, it'll be good. And I have diets in the back. There's a whole section in the back about what diet goes with recipes. And also just like if you have hypertension, which diets were studied for that. So some people will go on the keto diet and think it's for everything. And I'm like, but it's not for your hypertension, because that they didn't say, that's not it. So it kind of lets you know how to navigate diet and vitamins and how to boost your hormones without being prescribed hormones, even though I love to do that.
Okay. Part 6 is detoxing and cleansing naturally. So what do you want to tell us about that?
Detox is a lifelong process. A lot of people are like, I'm going to do my 1 week cleanse, 2 week cleanse, 3 week cleanse. And if you spent the first half of your life cluttering your body, 2 weeks a year is not going to unclutter it. And if you look on the internet, there's all these, join my 5-day detox, my 10-day, my 30-day. And it's great to do that because it makes you mindful. So I'm not saying that people should not do that, but my protocols are more for, if you have, let's say you have shingles, that virus is living inside of you and it doesn't come out. So you need like a constant protocol. You need some things to insert in your daily life so that you're always kind of keeping that that virus quiet.
We're not talking about a full life of detoxing like we think of a week's fast or a week cleanse. You're talking about things that we do daily that cause our body to naturally detox. Am I right?
Yeah, those are my detoxes forever. Like people are like, when do I stop this yeast detox? Never. You've had it for 10 years. 10 years from now. It's like, this is what you do, but it's, it's little things that you do that we don't think about. Like, oh, I, did my oregano for 10 days, I'm done. I'm like, why don't you find recipes where it's always there and it's always killing something for you? What do you do after 10 days? You eat the way you ate, you grow it back, and here you are. You don't want to do a constant battle day. Like once I found Young Living oils, I started using sclorescence and progescence just for like neck, because people start we do all these things to our face and we never think about our neck. And that really tells me a lot of people's age. I will look at their neck and I don't care what they put in their face. I'm like, oh, your neck is telling me stuff. So I started putting sclorescence and progescence plus just on my neck because I knew that they were good for skin. I never had a hot flush again.
Yes.
And I had a lot of ways to get rid of them before, but you take hormones, then you forget. You could be taking an herbal pill every day and then you run out. But if you're doing something every day for your skin, there's not a day of my life I forget to put lipstick on or face cream. Not one day ever, just because it's just.
And my Progessence Plus goes in my face cream all over. Yes.
So it was just something I was doing all the time that I never forgot to do. And I'm like,
right.
if you can put something in your life like that, like you make your shake every day, let's put a drop of oil in it. You make your tea every day, let's find an oil I like in it. I know I put stuff on my toothpaste, put a drop on your toothbrush. I know that I put things on my neck every day. If you're doing something every day, you don't have to think, oh, I forgot, and here come my flashes. It's there. So, and this gives you a lot of opportunities and a lot of ideas. You don't have to do everything in the protocol, but you will find something in every protocol that's going to be like, I got it. Yeah.
So here it is again. You
Stuff.
need this, you need to order it. Somebody wanted to buy one that somebody else was done with. You don't get done with this book. You keep, because you're going to refer back to it time and time and time again. It is that valuable. So I mean, I really appreciate you writing the book, Dr. Como, and I appreciate you sharing it with us here. So on here, we're going to put a link where you can order this. Is that okay?
Yes, yes, yes.
So thank you so much for joining me. It was a delight. And thank you for helping all of us with aging.
Okay, thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
You have watched our video, you've heard our stuff. Are you ready to get started with Young Living? If you are, please go to youngliving.com. There's a place there that says become a member. But first, contact the person that told you about Young Living. We want you to connect with the person that was connected with you. So go to that person, tell them that you're interested, then use their member number. And if there's no one that's talked to you about this, our member numbers, our links are listed in the description, and we will be glad to help you. So go do it. It's fun.